So I had been planning on filming for the last few days what's going on in my life with COVID-19, but it got a little hard to do that just because I was studying a lot for a test I had in statistics, and the deal with that is basically that I have dyslexia. I'm dyslexic, and it's not like, oh, I look at like a book or like some words and they get flipped around or whatever. It's mostly with numbers. It's hard for me to look at a screen that has like a whole bunch of numbers on it or something and they're close together, or like a table. Like my brain can't really separate them from each other, so they just kind of turn into one massive glob. If that makes any sense, I need to be able to like physically separate them with my hand for me to understand it. And during the school year, I get accommodations where if it's online assignments, instead I get paper and pencil. It may be different from what my classmates have. It works for me, and normally all of our tests are on paper and pencil. Sorry, my cat is like all over the place. So that is kind of the deal with me when we're on campus, which is the normal thing. But with COVID-19, we've had to move everything online, and it's been rough. So I'm really glad that this is the way that my professor does our midterms. Basically, he splits it into 4 different like mini midterms and then combines them for a cumulative midterm grade. And it's very frustrating because I'm already not the best at statistics. I'm better with like algebra, where there are very specific formulas that you plug numbers into that I can get, and I understand the concept of statistics and like the things we're doing. But then my dyslexia comes in and it makes it really hard. And I think a lot of people who struggle with learning disabilities and receive in-class and in-school accommodations are having the same kind of problem I am, because there's not really a system in place for this scenario, because nothing like this has happened when anyone has been alive. So it's very intense. That is like a struggle. And so basically what happened is I did a lot more sitting than I normally do, because I hadn't been in class and I hadn't had the same access to like the tutoring center and stuff that there normally is. So I ended up doing a total of 220 practice problems and watching, I don't remember how many hours, but several hours of YouTube videos on statistics to try and make sure I got it. And so I get to the test, and just everything that's gone on, I realized about 5 minutes into it that I'm getting extended time. This is like, because I don't need it when they're pencil and paper assignments, because it's a lot easier for me to get, because I can separate it by my hand. I can physically, separate the numbers. But when it's on screen, I can't do that. I would have to write all of them down, but then I clump them together when they're on screen, so I wouldn't write them down correctly. So it was kind of this back and forth thing, and we had an hour and 15 minutes and 2 tries on the midterm. I answered like 5 questions on each. Very difficult for me. It stressed me out a lot, and I was really upset, and I emailed my professor, and I like copied my advisor onto it. I like explained what happened, and I explained how much I'd studied, and luckily I have a professor that is very understanding and has worked with me a lot. And so he helped me. He added like 5 hours instead of 1.5, and I definitely completed it in under that. And I was very grateful for that. I still think I would have gotten a better grade if I had been able to look at it on pencil and paper. That's stressful, but that can't really happen right now. So I am worried about my grade. We're doing a credit, no credit thing. So if you get a passing final grade, then you get the credit. It doesn't affect your GPA, and if you don't get a passing final grade, you get no credit, and it won't affect your GPA. For me, statistics is a prerequisite for a lot of other classes I need to take for my public health major. So if I get no credit in it, I may not be able to graduate on time. Who knows? It's going to be rough. That's just kind of like very overwhelming, and there's nothing like direct that I can really say will definitely happen, because no one's going to know what happens in like the next 2 weeks. It's supposed to get even worse. And I think it is something worth noting. Students who normally receive accommodations in school, it's harder to cater to that. My school is definitely trying to send out numbers of emails from the accommodation center. Still only so much you can do, especially when your accommodations are not doing things on a computer in a certain class. I took a break from making some videos just because I needed to focus on that test, and afterwards when I would study for hours. I just wanted to like close my eyes or just turn my brain off. That's another part of this whole thing is just it's mentally exhausting. That's it for today. I will try and film tomorrow. The test is over, so I have more energy and I'm gonna be bored.